You must have had a whole range of managers that either put their arm around you, Benny, come on, you doing with it? Or Benny, who's the one who would just scream and shout at you, and you just go like, calm down. I can't even I would imagine the opposite of what Martin Yole was like. Is my guess.
I'm trying to think of a screamer and a shouter.
Who's the calm one? Who was it? Was it Martin Yole?
Martin Yole was calm. Curbs was calm. But you know what, though? Curbs
was calm, was he?
Right, he was, but he had a bit of a screw loose. And when I say that, I'll give an example in a minute.
Yeah, there's a compliment behind that.
Yeah, Martin Yole, lovely guy. Harry Redknapp, obviously, as we all know, very honest, maybe too honest, but there we go. But Curbs, he used to, honestly, he could switch. And when I say switch...
For a proper reason, or all of a sudden, nothing?
It depends. Because we played Portsmouth at the Valley, and we were 2-0 down. No, we were 1-0 down. First half, and we weren't playing particularly great. I wasn't playing particularly great, but more so for me, I wasn't really involved in the game. Like, I'd run left, the ball would go right. Do you know what I mean? I'd come short, the ball would go over. So we're getting at half time now, and I'm just sitting there thinking, right, how are we gonna approach second half? And he comes in, slams the door. I'm thinking, oh, he's not happy here. He doesn't worry about anybody else. He just turns around to me, and goes, "If you don't pull your finger out, there's going to be problems. Look at me. I'm Darren Bent. I've arrived in the Premier League. I've scored goals." Because at this point, I've been scoring goals. He honestly didn't worry about nobody else. Completely read me the right act. And I didn't think I was that bad, right?
Right.
Obviously, fuming. Second half, I come up, we win 2-1. I'll score the first, set up the second. So
but did that make... I don't know how I'd react. I think I would react like, well, if you're going to be like, I can't be bothered with you.
Do you know what, right? The two people, probably know the biggest person in that dressing room at that time who went Benty was Matty Holland.
Okay.
He was the one who went, "Benty, listen, you know why he's done this. We're not playing well. You're obviously flying this season. If he goes at you, it will resonate with the rest of the dressing room. So go out there second half."
So was it more Matt Holland and his little speech?
That helped me, yeah. Because when I scored the winner, I took my shirt off and
you took
the shirt
winner?
off, everything, booked everything, didn't care. I ran down that side, Curbs was at, everything.
And when you ran down towards Curbs?
Yeah, I wasn't doing any of that, like in his face, no chance. But to be fair...
So it worked?
After the game, he just went, "See, there you go." But it worked. But that was probably the only time that whole season, my only time with Curbs, where he read me the right act.
What about here at talkSPORT, when you're not a professional footballer? If they go like, "Benny, Goldstein's always carrying you, he's always the funny one, he's got great hair, what do you offer to the show?"
No one. Do you know what? Nobody in this building would ever say that. The great hair part, yeah, probably.
Yeah, but the rest of it, they wouldn't. What about like Gerard Houllier? I know you always speak so well about Gerard Houllier. What was he like? So
calm in the way that he spoke. And you know, a lot of guys at Villa didn't really get on with Gerard, but I certainly did. He signed me. I was really close with him. But he was another one as well that was just kind of, he wouldn't lose the play. It's almost like he could see the bigger picture. So because we had such a good team, I think Gerard always was like, "You know what? Listen, it's fine. Relax. It's not a problem." Like, so he wasn't really a baller or a screamer. Like, I'm sure you'll get other people. I think Danny Murphy would say, because he spent obviously years with him at Liverpool, he was a bit of a baller and a screamer, I think. But certainly in that period that I was with him, it was more Gary McAllister. The number 2 was the screamer.
What about Capello?
Yeah, he could lose it.
Do you see it?
Yeah, loads of times.
Who is?
I remember he lost it with Emil Heskey with his phone in at lunch.
Go on.
Like, cause so you're banned. At one period under Capello, you couldn't wear shorts downstairs, like loungewear. You had to wear the full tracksuit.
Right. What's the point of that?
I don't know.
Right.
So even if you was going downstairs to get a snack, your full tracksuit on. Right. In lunch, do not bring your phone anywhere near that lunchroom. Banned. And I remember Emil's was on the table and it went off. He come up. He was screaming and shouting like ballistic. So that was one occasion. Another occasion was Joe Cole sat on a football in training, and that was one of his pet peeves. I'm pretty sure he came up, kicked the ball for under Joe sitting there, and was screaming at him.
Why can't he sit on a football?
Don't know. And the last one I remember him really blowing his top.
Yeah.
We had a meeting, and for whatever reason, he was probably not the only manager, but I remember if the meeting was at 5 o'clock, people was outside the meeting room at 4:45. And this one particular time, we're waiting, and the foe's late. There's a couple of people that are late, and they're coming like 5:05, right? And he stands there, and at first he's all right, Capello, and then he just completely loses it, and he starts talking about why the English mentality, why England never win anything, everything he can think of. He ranted for about 10 minutes, just screaming at the top of his voice. But England don't win anything. This is the English mentality. That's why whenever they get to tournaments, they never do well. Everything you can think of.
I've never been in that situation, right? And millions of people listening to this are similar to me. If you had to compare it to something, would it be like when you were at school and the teacher would lose the plot? So you're all sitting there with your schoolmates?
No, probably worse. And do you know why I say worse? Because we're fully grown men. Like there's only certain amount a teacher can really say to you, isn't there? Really,
kids, yeah.
But Capello, mate, didn't mix his words.
Okay.
That particular time, we lost it.
Let's take calls on it. 03717223344. Do you think that managers should be more honest, or should they keep their honesty to themselves with the press and just speak one-to-one with the player? Or
players are so powerful nowadays, though. It's a difficult one.
Okay. Let's speak to Dan, Liverpool fan. Hello, Dan. How are you?
Good afternoon. How are we, fellas? You okay?
We're great. Are you good today?
Yeah, not so bad. I just finished work, so that's always a bonus.
What have you got any advice for me as to how I can get rid of foxes in my garden?
Not quite. If you need an ambulance, I can help you out, but I can't help with foxes.
An ambulance?
Well, are you an ambulance driver, or are you threatening me?
Yeah, I work for the ambulance service.
Oh, okay, all right. If you want to taste hospital food, pal, you've come to the right place. Go on then, Dan. As a Liverpool fan, we're talking about managers. Now, you've got a manager that really does divide opinion.
Yeah, he really does. But I think, hypothetically, if I was a professional footballer, I don't think there's many managers in the world, if any, who you'd rather play under than Jurgen Klopp, to be honest. I know people, when Liverpool don't perform well when they lose a game and he comes out with all these bizarre excuses and reasons why Liverpool lost, I think that's all in aid of protecting the players. I really do think protecting the players goes a long way. I mean, I think there's a reason why Jurgen Klopp, he was very successful at Borussia Dortmund and he was there for the best part of a decade. Never had a riff with any player there, didn't lose the dressing room, and he's never done that at Liverpool either. He's been very successful. Liverpool have had very tough moments while he's been here, but he's never been that manager to, you look at him and you look at the way the players are performing and you think the players just aren't performing for the manager anymore. We've seen it with Conte, we've seen it with Mourinho, we've seen it with Tuchel, we see it with a lot of managers, but I think Klopp, because he protects his players and he has the conversation with them privately rather than broadcast it to the media, I think that's one of the reasons why he's so successful. And Guardiola, he's the same. All the information, criticism of his players, it really happens indoors rather than, broadcasted to the media.
Dan, thank you for your call. Benny, I want to take calls on this, by the way, 03717223344. We'll move stuff about, so in the next section, you can have your say. That number again is 03717223344. Remember when Big Sam took over Leeds last season for a few games?
Yeah.
And I think it was after one game, he came out and said that he thinks he's a better manager than Pep. Or words to that, Pete.
He basically said if he got given everything Pep got,
okay. And we were all talking about that Big Sam. What's he talking about? Does it work? Did it take the attention away from how his team were playing and the players? And does that work?
I don't know if it did because they were where they were in the league.
But when the manager comes out and says something not stupid but controversial.
No, because then again, I think a lot of people in the footballing world go, "We know what you're trying to do here."
Yeah.
Like, 'cause when you say something as eccentric as that,
yeah,
I think everyone else in the footballing world goes, "Come on,
we know you're playing.
We know you're playing it."
Well, at the time I was like, "What did he just say?"
Well, we made a whole section on it.
Yeah, we did. Yeah, we did 2 weeks worth. Yeah, it was a quiet month.
talkSPORT Drive. Super opinionated sporting debate. Monday to Friday afternoon from 4 on AM, on DAB, via the talkSPORT app and on your smart speaker. talkSPORT.